Hello, everybody. This is Etienne Marcel Pursuit, and welcome to another edition of Fighting Peaches. We're progressing through our preseason preview of the college football season, highlighted by our presence at the Sun Belt Football Media Days in New Orleans earlier this summer. And we're able to speak with Texas State head coach uh, GJ Kinne as the Bobcats prepare for this upcoming season. As always, to follow everything that we do, head to the mothership to sportsinquirer.net. Premier News and Nights, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also head to our social media platforms on Twitter/X, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, make sure you like and share to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. And once again, we're able to speak with Coach Keene at the Football Media Days in New Orleans. Here he is. Enjoy.
We're here with Coach GJ Kinne from Texas State. Last year, 8-win campaign, able to get a bowl win on top of that. Just how big was that for you? Just that winning season, getting a bowl win. I'm sure that was a pretty positive energy heading into the offseason.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you can finish the season with a win, and for that to be in a bowl game atmosphere and versus an in-state opponent was huge for us, and just really capped off a great season, and we're able to provide some momentum going into the offseason.
Yeah, and we just talked with Dorian a few minutes ago about players coming in and out, and every college coach is dealing with that. How do you handle that now that we're in really your entire tenure at Texas State has been in this transfer portal NIL era? Have you gotten acclimated to it? Is it still an adjustment just because you're losing players, but you're also bringing players in as well?
Yeah, I think it's always an adjustment, especially for me, just because I don't know about other head coaches, but I'm super involved with the everyday operation and the recruiting and the relationships. That's really the reason I do it. Obviously I'm an offensive guy and I love scheme and all that. But to me, my favorite thing is the relationships with the players and getting to know them and see them accomplish their goals and from the time they get to Texas State to the time they leave, the transformation they make, on and off the field. So anytime you pour into someone like that and you have that type of relationship. And whether they graduate or leave through the portal, it's always tough. But the good thing is, we're able to keep a bunch of really good players and able to sign a bunch of really good guys. So excited for what's to come.
Yeah, and offensively, you've become known best offense in the conference the last 2 years. But you are bringing a new OC this year, and Mark Leftwich. No, you're replacing Mark Leftwich with Landon. How
Keppel,
Keppel? Thank you.
there you go.
With Landon.
I
Yeah.
got you.
How's that been? Just transitioning to a new OC, and because that's I'm sure a pretty intensive process.
It's been pretty smooth. I'm an offensive guy, and I've always had um, a huge part in the offense. Landon's been with me since 2020. This is our third school together, so we able to keep Jordan Shoemaker, our co-offensive coordinator, and offensive line coach, Will Bryan, our tight ends, Randy Martinez as receivers, who's with me year one in a different role, and then Barrick Neely, who's going on year two with me. So um, a lot of guys that have been with me for a bunch of years, and I think that's always key. And Coach Leftwich is an unbelievable coach and one of my best friends. So you hate to see him leave because of the relationship part of it. Same thing, you pour so much into somebody and you talk to him almost every day. But super proud of him and everything he's been able to accomplish and thank him. Um, but I know Coach Keppel and the rest of the offensive staff will
And what about the
continue it.
defensive end? Sorry, cutting you off there,
Very
coach.
good.
What about the defensive end? Just you mentioned your offense so much and the new OC. What about defensively? Just how that unit looking, and as you continue to progress and try to get better.
Yeah. Defensively, really excited about that group. Obviously, defensive coordinator Dexter McCoyle, who's have a long history. He's my college teammate, and we didn't lose anyone on the defensive staff. We returned a bunch of really good players on defense. And we're able to add a bunch of really good players. So excited with that group, and the way they've worked this off season, on and off the field, academically, in the weight room, and on the field. So I think our whole team coaches included, have a big chip on our shoulder. So we're excited to go and compete.
Yeah, and how do you handle this final year in the Sun Belt with the conference, the new announcement? What about that announcement transitioning to to the to the new conference, but then also handling being in the Sun Belt? How do you balance all of that together?
For me as a coach and the players, nothing really changes. You know, it's just we get questions about it, and that's about it. That's more for the president and the athletic director, and you know, that's kind of their deal. I'm just we're in the Sun Belt. We're going to do our best to compete and win a conference championship.
Yeah, and just a few more questions before we go. Favorite stadium that you've coached in, besides you're currently at Texas State and you love
Yep.
it, but maybe through your career, another stadium that you really enjoyed coaching at.
Um, Trying to give you a good answer.
If you can name one or two, you don't. I know, I said favorite, but I'm sure you had a few over your years.
I think Strawn talked about North Dakota State. That was really cool. I think for me, playing wise, when I was a player, we played at Notre Dame. That was pretty cool, and beating Notre Dame at Notre Dame was really cool. So probably those two.
Favorite recruit that you've been able to sign over your years. It could be a funny anecdote or just the process of it. Maybe someone that was lesser regarded and turned into a really solid player for you. One or two. You don't have one specifically.
Um, I'll go with the easy one, Lindsey Scott. I signed at UIW. He actually got benched at his previous school, and he got in the portal, and we had just lost Cam Ward, who was the number one overall pick, and we signed Lindsey Scott, and he had 71 touchdowns and won the Walter Payton, and was on my staff for a couple of years after that, and just a great person and great player, and same thing. He had a chip on his shoulder, and he was looking to prove something, and we gave him that opportunity, and he took it and run with it, and just really proud of him.
Best high school player that you've witnessed in person.
Witnessed in person, probably Cedric Benson. When I was a young guy, I was a coach's kid. Went to all the games at Cowboy Stadium back in the day, and my dad was the defense coordinator at Mesquite High School, and he was at Midland Lee, and so getting to see him in person, I think 2 times, got his autograph after the game. So Cedric Benson for sure.
Yeah, and one thing you would like to improve or change in the college football landscape.
That's pretty tough. I'm sure there's a bunch, that I'd like to change, and a lot of things that we have right. So that's probably tough.
And then lastly, what's the best coaching advice you've ever received or given?
I think just be yourself. That's what I usually tell people is just be yourself. Don't try to be Todd Graham or Gus Malzahn or Chip Kelly or Doug Peterson. For myself, just be you. I think what also I was at the Texas High School Coaches Association. That's a huge deal for us. And yesterday I had a young coach. He asked me the same thing. What advice do you have for me? And I said just really build those relationships with your players. And I think for me the coaches that I had a real relationship. It wasn't just hey you're in the building. You can ask these guys right here. I'm on their Instagram. I probably call these guys once a week to check on them. I'm making sure they're taking care of their classwork. So it's a lot more than just football for me. It's I'm making sure that they're set up for life. After this, and so that's what I'd say is just those relationships.
All right, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Yep, and we do thank Coach once again for allowing us to hear from him at the event. I really appreciate that. As always, to follow everything that we do, you can head to the mothership, thesportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also head to our social media platforms on Twitter slash Instagram, Twitter X slash Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video host, which include YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. And once again, thank you for listening or watching this latest edition of the Fighting Peaches. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.